biker true and proud, ride an iron horse that's free and wild. A biker true and proud, admitting I'm scared is not allowed. I may not look so mean and tough, but let me tell you, sir, I'm no powder puff. What it takes to ride, well, I got the stuff. I got what it takes to ride. Got what it takes to ride. Got what it takes to Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of It's Never Too Late, where we believe it's never too late to follow your dreams, to start something new, or definitely never too late to have some fun. So how are you doing? Look at you. All nice and dapper.
Getting a little close to the show tonight. Yeah.
Look at that. So handsome. We are in the middle of talking about our favorite moments, not including our honeymoon, our favorite moments from some of our trips. And this one, the first one we're going to talk about is when we were going to the Daytona Bike Week, right? It was Biketoberfest?
Yes, it was. Biketoberfest.
It was Biketoberfest one year, and that's in Daytona. And if you go up about 75 miles north on A1A, which is right along the ocean, it's a beautiful ride. You'll get up to St. Augustine. And on the way there, all of a sudden, Curtis does this.
U-turn.
Yeah, that's the symbol when you're riding to make a U-turn. I'm like, what the heck?
That means I seen something out of the corner of my eye that we have got to go check out.
So we do a U-turn, and I see a sign that I missed. It was a rather small sign for what it is. It said Marineland. So we go into the parking lot, and it says it's a dolphin conservatory. We got to check this out. So remember what happened?
There was you had to make reservations. And
wait. To do what?
To swim with the dolphins.
You could swim with the dolphins, and you had to make a reservation ahead of time. And they said, oh, no, it usually takes a couple of weeks. And I said, well, we're only here, for a short time. And they said, as fate would have it,
someone just canceled.
Two cancellations for like an hour from there. And I said, we don't have bathing suits with us. What are we going to do?
Wetsuits.
They have wetsuits there that they give you to wear. And they have a woman who photographs you swimming with the dolphins. So we couldn't believe it. All of a sudden, out of the blue, we're swimming with dolphins in this gigantic swimming pool. Look how cute. You get to touch them and rub them.
Yep, you kiss them too.
Yeah, you get to look at that. Yeah. You get to kiss it. Look how romantic. Oh.
Yeah, I was a little nervous when all those teeth in their mouth. You easily fit my head in there.
Oh my gosh! And their tail is so strong
when
they swim by you.
Oh yeah, but look at this. We're rubbing the belly. That dolphin was pregnant at the time.
Yeah.
And I actually felt the baby move. Pretty wild, very intense. And we kept in touch with them to find out how the baby was doing. And unfortunately, it didn't last very long, but it was born alive, and they kept it going for a little while.
Yeah, they said that the dolphin was way too old to be pregnant. Shouldn't have been having a baby at that age. So it unfortunately didn't make it. We were really sad when we heard about that because we felt it in the tummy. But it's an amazing thing if you are, and not many people know about it. If you're in that area, Daytona, St. Augustine, check out Marineland. Again, we did this several years ago. You'd have to check on if they're doing it right now. It's one of the most amazing experiences you will ever have. They also, from what I understand from a friend of mine, do it in the Keys.
Yes, there's a couple of places they
do.
And
that it looked like when he did it, he wasn't in a pool. He was in like a section of the ocean where they had them, or the beach. But it is an amazing thing. You feel the strength of these animals. They are so smart. They are smarter than any dog you can ever imagine. They're very, very gentle. And you can put your hand on their fin and actually get a little ride with them. And
yeah, it was pretty cool. And the people that work there will give you different instructions, the hand signals to give to the dolphins. And then they'll clap for you and everything. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. And they said that these dolphins, because they've been raised in captivity, they can't let out into the ocean because they wouldn't know how to fend for themselves. But she said they're very happy. They have a huge, it's gigantic. It's like their own little bay that they live in, and it's perfect temperature. It's very, very deep, and they teach them to go deep and jump up and through hoops, and they showed us how they train them. And what, I mean, could you imagine swimming with a dolphin? We couldn't. It was just one of those opportunities. Remember, I said you got to say yes to every opportunity, and it was just meant to be. They just happened to have a cancellation, and we got to do it. So that's one of our all-time favorite
that was pretty cool.
memories, was swimming with the dolphins. Another fun memory is when we went to a dude ranch. We went to the Malibu
yes.
Dude Ranch in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that was fun.
Milford,
Milford,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, yeah.
And a whole bunch of us went. We took our motorcycles. We had a whole section of, you get like little cabins. These were all attached cabins. So we had the whole that whole building to ourselves.
We even brought tents with us. We set up two big tents.
The ones who weren't on motorcycles.
Yeah.
They schlepped the tents, and we just had a grand old time. They have a lake there with rowboats, and you can row out on the lake. Besides, of course, the horse trails.
Horseback riding, yeah.
And they actually have, they're bringing a professional rodeo. Now, what they had, again, taking an opportunity, they said they were going to do an amateur barrel race. You want to tell them what a barrel race is? Because we didn't know.
Yeah.
Until
All right. Well, a barrel race, actually, my neighbor up here competes. They set up 3 barrels. So you start, you have to go in one direction around one barrel, the opposite direction around the other barrel, go around the 3rd barrel, and then charge for the finish line.
And they time you on how to do that. And you have to get the horse around each barrel in the correct direction. And then, you can't knock over the barrel. And,
Obvious.
and right. and then you have to race home. And they do this in the big corral. And so I said, well, my experience on a horse is a Western saddle trotting along on the trail. I never even got into a canter before, I don't think, trotting. So what did I know about it?
And they were happen to have a rodeo going on that weekend when we were there. They just allowed the guests to do some barrel racing as part of the rodeo.
So the first picture you saw, the guy on the horse, that first picture you saw, that's Curtis in the middle of the barrel race. And as you can see, the horse is kind of in the middle of moving, but can't really tell what. My horse, when they gave me my horse, they said her name is Star. And they said, hold the reins like it's a microphone. Well, I said, this is just totally karma. This is just totally meant to be a horse named Star, holding the reins like it's a microphone. And my horse knew the way. So you can see, look, all 4 feet are off the ground, so you can tell I'm really moving there.
They're kind of hoofs. I mean, they don't really have feet.
Well, feet, hoofs.
Words are so important.
I'm wearing the cowboy hat that he gave me, and on that return trip, that's where you're really booking after the 3rd barrel. On the return trip, I was so excited that I did this, and I'm cantering with the horse. What did I do?
You scream, Yahoo! Yeehaw!
And evidently the judges really loved it.
And she won.
And I won.
She got the blue ribbon.
I got the blue ribbon.
Do you believe this?
The first time I ever won anything, I thought, oh my gosh. And Curtis.
You went around one barrel the wrong way,
well,
too.
See, he says it was he said it was a tainted victory. He said it didn't count because the first barrel, when I got to it, the horse stopped. Evidently, I wasn't like far enough to one side of the barrel, and the horse just stopped, and I flew, and I ended up on the horse's neck. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this isn't good. So I somehow shimmied down, got back in the saddle, and kicked the horse and got him around. But Curtis said when I got him around, I went around the wrong way. But evidently, the judges didn't care. They liked my yeehaw. So I came in first. First time I ever won anything and came in first at anything. And he kind of said, well, you kind of did. You kind of did.
You got $20 for that too, didn't you?
I did. I still have that. I have the picture of me on the horse that a friend of mine took, and I took the $20 and it's in the frame. And that's my
Well, now
reminder.
that you got paid and you made money, you're a professional.
Oh, I guess so. I
Right.
guess that means now I'm a professional barrel racer. But that was so much fun. That was the best part of that trip. Because you go on the trails with the horses and that's fun. But doing that barrel race, that was absolutely amazing.
Wasn't that was around 4th of July too? I think we had a lot of fireworks. We had a blast.
They had barbecues there, and the food was great, and people were so nice. And that was just a fun time. That's a great thing you could do with the kids, because they'll give you a smaller horse for the kids or a pony, and they go on the trails, and they're trail horses, so they go really
I think
slow.
they have about 400 acres, right?
It's a lot.
Yeah, and they have a lot of nice trails. They'll take you out as many times as you want. It's real nice.
Yeah, so that was a real fun thing to do, and there were
They
a
have
lot
a
of
shooting
kids.
range there too.
Oh, they did?
Right.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
yeah, don't you remember?
right. I do, because I
Yeah.
had to get earplugs. I heard
Yep.
right behind where we were staying, they're shooting at Target. Like, why would they put that right behind where I'm trying to sleep? But he liked that. I didn't do that. Anyway, so it was a really fun time. Oh, did they have archery too? I
Yes,
think they had archery, because I like archery. That'll do. That's like a little safer than a gun.
they had a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
they had the rowboats.
The
They had the
rowboats.
stone house right on the lake.
The stone house on the
Real
lake.
nice.
Beautiful lodge. You can stay in the lodge. You can stay in one of the little cabins. But it was just a fun time, and that was in Pennsylvania. In Milford, Pennsylvania, is the Malibu Dude Ranch.
It's for Doc.
Yeah, ask for Doc. That's right. I forgot the guy's name was Doc. And we're talking about motorcycle trips. And there's a picture I have of us with the guys. I call it me and the guys. They always included me on their trips. Curtis was in Queensboro at the time, and it's an old riding club, 110, 115 years old now. And they always included me, and they let me ride with them. They taught me a lot. 111 years old.
Established in 1910.
In 1910. So they would let me ride with them. They're an AMA club, American Motorcyclist Association club, and they're what's the word I'm thinking of? Sanctioned by the AMA. And so they're just a family club, a lot of fun. And Bob, in that picture, you'll see Bob. I'm holding Curtis's hand, of course. But we have our friend Bob that we talked about in an early episode. I wrote that song, Are There Bikes in Heaven?
He's right next to me.
Yeah, he's standing between us, and he went on our honeymoon with us. And then the guy to the right of me in the yellow shirt is Al. Al recently passed away too, so we're missing Bob and Al. And then our good friend Louie is on the end. And
Bob would plan a lot of trips, sometimes just a day trip, sometimes a weekend, so he planned this trip. And I believe this was a Virginia trip.
The first one we're going to talk about is the Pennsylvania trip.
Oh, so Pennsylvania.
And Bob is so dear to my heart, because when I started riding, I got a lot of girls belong on the back. You shouldn't be riding this, that, and the other thing. And Bob was the one person who said, besides Curtis, he said, you're a good little rider. He said, you're going to do fine. And he invited me on every trip.
We did a bunch of Ramapo 500s, which is a 500-mile weekend.
Yeah.
So it's Friday. You have to ride up about 125 miles. You stay overnight. Saturday, you check in, you do 250 miles. Sunday, you do another 250 miles. You have a big barbecue afterwards, and then go home.
And then you go home.
So Sunday is really like a 375-mile ride. But
yeah, we would do about a lot of miles, like 750 miles on a weekend. But those were great, because what they would do is they give you these pages and pages and pages of directions, and it'll say like a 1.3 miles, and at the corner where there's a stone statue, make a right, go this far and make a left, and it would give you all. And they didn't do GPS. You would tape them onto your tank, and you follow the directions out. We'd have to look down and look up, use painter's tape.
Yep.
So you wouldn't ruin the tape. Some of the guys had special magnet things that held the directions. And every time you had to flip a page, we'd all pull over and we'd flip the page, change the page, and then you'd keep going. And you would do 250 miles in a day like that, just following these directions. And,
challenging.
Should we tell
them?
And
they were always beautiful roads.
Oh my gosh. Should we tell them
upstate New York,
about Walnut Avenue? We're talking about it. Remember Walnut Avenue? We make a right. We're looking for the street. Where the heck's Walnut Avenue? All we see is gravel and a farm. And there's a little sign there that said Walnut Avenue.
This is at the end of a long day. When Bob mapped it out, he didn't realize how many miles we were going to be doing.
No, this was part of a Ramapo.
Oh, the Ramapo.
It was part of the Ramapo.
I know. You're talking about the pig road.
Yeah, the pigs. So he forgot. So we're right. We make the right. We're in gravel. Now, you've been on gravel roads. A lot of times it's hard and there's a little gravel. You have to be careful. This was just gravel. So when you rode your motorcycle on it, you sank about 2 inches into the gravel, and you were riding on this on your bike. I'm like, this is crazy.
It was freshly done.
Yeah, I was only riding like a year at that point. And so we're riding along on this gravel road, and we're passing a farm. and we're in the middle of a farm, and there were these
The
gigantic
road went through the farm. It was funny. Then there was these pigs, just grazing around.
big, not like little pigs,
Oh, this
like
pig had to be 500 pounds if that.
hogs.
So
The-
turns out he was trying to get between me and the guy in front of me.
He was chasing a cat.
Yeah.
So
Then later when we stopped, Bob says, "Yeah, I told that pig, the guy in back, eats pork."
he liked
So-
bacon. The guy in the back liked bacon. That was the line of the day. But anyway, we're riding along, and now this giant hog, this 500-pound hog, starts chasing us because it's chasing a kitten, and it got between us. And that was one of the most exciting times. That was
yeah.
a lot of fun on the gravel road. And I was only riding a year, but those are the kind of things sometimes that would happen on these road trips on the bikes. So I don't know how we got off on that. But we were going to start talking about this Pennsylvania trip
Oh,
with
yes,
Bob.
yeah.
It was a week-long trip, and the first. Remember to tell them about the first
night
time when we
got
arrived.
there. Yeah, right.
Oh,
Well, like I said earlier, he didn't realize how far when you're planning something on a map, it's hard to judge the exact miles. So it turned out to be over 400-mile day through twisties and turnies. I mean, if you're on a highway, 400 miles isn't too bad. But when you're doing a lot of twisties and turnies, and it takes a long time because you're doing 35 miles an hour.
it's and by that time we were hungry. We weren't there yet. It was like 8, 9 o'clock at night.
And it got dark.
We stopped at a diner. It was getting really cold. We were dressed for the day. We thought we'd be there by now, so we weren't dressed warm enough. We're freezing cold. We're hungry. We stop in a diner. It's like 8, 9 o'clock at night. We're still not there. So when we get there,
When we get there, there's one light in the middle of the parking lot, and it's a huge place. It's got cabins all around. There's one light. So we all pull up under that light so we could see each other because it was pitch black. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face.
literally,
And then next thing we know, we hear something in the distance. What was it?
a lion roaring.
In the middle of Pennsylvania, a lion roaring.
are-
What the heck is going on here?
It's 11 o'clock at night, almost midnight. We're tired. We're freezing cold. We're somewhere we don't know. There's no place open. We're supposed to be renting this little cabin. We can't get a phone signal because we're in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere. And there's a lion roaring. I said, I just walked into a really bad B movie. That's exactly what it felt like. It's like, am I hearing a lion? Did you just hear that lion? And it's
Yeah,
like, oh
yeah.
my gosh. So we're like feeling around. We find a building. We kind of broke into the building. We got in through the door. We got a light on, so at least we could see each other. But they were in the middle of building it. It
And there was
wasn't.
an envelope on the bar.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
we forgot. We had to go looking. If one of the wives, we got through to one of the wives. She finally got through to the woman because they were only there waiting there for us till 5 o'clock. So they said, well, we left it, but we had to go walk to the main building. Remember? It was in the mailbox.
Oh, it was in
It
the
was in the
mailbox.
mailbox. He forgot. So we walk.
We did get into the bar though, didn't we?
That's all he remembers. It was. They didn't have a working bar. They were just building it. So we
No,
get.
it was closed. Nobody was
Yeah,
there.
nobody was there. So we get this little flashlight.
It's like that girl. She says, "Come on over. Nobody's home." I went over. Nobody was home.
That was it. We had reservations. Nobody was home. So we get the key. We find the building. We get the key. Now we got to find the cabin that it goes to. And all we have is this little tiny, one of those little portable flashlights.
You would think they'd leave a light on, so at least we know. All right, it's the
Something.
cabin with the light on.
So
No such luck.
they finally got the wife to call back to reach the woman, and they got a message back to us. It's by the entrance. It's called the Miss Kitty. We finally find it. So here's a picture of the Miss Kitty. That was the cabin. There's no light. And we finally found it. And there were like, 6 of us, I think, went into that cabin. And we were so grateful to finally get there. And then the next day, of course, in the light of day. But the lion that we were hearing, we found out
It's like a zoo.
they had a zoo on the property.
Yeah.
The lion must have heard us pull up. We woke him up and he's roaring. So we weren't hearing things. There was really a lion there. And I think they had
They had a bunch of stuff.
A bunch of
Did
things. We didn't go
sheep
see
and
it.
all
It was
kinds of stuff.
closed when and really didn't want to at that point. But that we really did hear a lion roaring. And so that was so I don't know if it was that night, if we just conked into bed, or if it was the next day, but there was a hot tub there. And all of us just piled into
think
the
it was
hot
that
tub.
night.
I think it was that night. We were just so exhausted. We saw that. We said, we're in. And it was probably midnight when we were in the tub. There I am with the guys. And it's just a very, very, very fun memory being in the hot tub and that whole day with the lion and all. So the next day I got elected, since it had a kitchen, I got elected to cook instead of going out. So I get a roast chicken, I'm putting it in the oven. And the guys meantime went out to a store and they bought some moonshine. And Curtis has this bottle of,
oh, the strawberries and the moonshine.
well, they told him, listen, you haven't eaten dinner yet. Don't eat the strawberry because it soaks up more of the alcohol. Don't eat the strawberry.
No, I've eaten cherries that were in booze before, and it's no big deal. Well, let me tell you something. I took out this strawberry like that big. And as soon as I bit into it, my mouth went dry instantly.
It was that potent. Well, he got stupid. He's lucky he's a fun drunk. I've only seen him drunk maybe 3 times in the 13 years I've known him. But he was so funny that night, cracking jokes. You didn't do Rodney that night, though.
No,
He didn't go into
I
Rodney.
was just being me, I guess.
But he got just stupid on the strawberry. So that's
One bite, you got drunk. It was amazing.
And our friend Chris is going, I told you not to eat the strawberry. This is one of the reasons we don't drink when we're on the road. We have to be in for the night if we're going to have a drink of anything. And so that was his
That was
strawberry
fun,
night.
though.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You guys had a good time laughing at me.
yeah, we did. We did that real well. So we're gonna show you. We're gonna talk about our West Virginia trip. And when this was a whole other week trip riding in West Virginia. The roads were magnificent. Oh my gosh, for biking, that is the place to be. So before we got to our hotel the first night, we stopped at a liquor store, and the parking lot was on an angle like this. And if you're parking a bike on the kickstand, it was weird. I didn't know how to do it, and I parked it at the wrong angle.
A little gravel there too.
Yeah, and when I put the kickstand down, and it had to lean too far, and the bike went over and on top of me. And thank God I still had my helmet on. They tell you have to have your helmet on before you even sit on the bike, and don't take it off till you get off the bike. Well, now I know why. Because when you park, you can have little episodes of something like that. So the guys will come over, they take my bike off of me. I was fine. But I ended up writing a song about it because a couple of times my kickstand didn't get into the right place and I toppled over and either went into him or something else. So I wrote a song. We have a saying in the biking world, ride safe. We always tell everybody, ride safe. Nobody ever says park safe. So I wrote a song called Park Safe, and it talks about some of the experiences when my kickstand didn't hold. So here's the song. It's called Park Safe.
We were riding twisty turnies for the whole entire day. We were weary as we headed to the hotel where we'd stay. But a stop was first in order to a local liquor store. But a slanted parking lot still recalls a memory sore. I really truly could have swore my kickstand was locked down, but then 500 pounds of metal pinned my ass right to the ground. I was lying on the pavement as my friends all scrambled round. If it weren't for my helmet, I'd have lost my flippin' crown. Park safe, you all park safe. Make sure that kickstand's down. Don't catch your chaps on your gear shift and go tumbling to the ground. Don't park on hills or gravel. Your fenders you can scrape. Your ride is not quite finished until you park safe. Then there was the time that I rode onto a boat, a ferry to the island. On the Sound we were afloat. Yeah, that torno kickstand didn't find its proper place, and I started to fall over, look of panic on my face. I thought for sure I'd topple and go straight into the wall, but a brand new BMW is the thing that broke my fall. $400 later, that's the money that I spent to fix a shiny bumper in the spot I put the dent. Park safe, you all park safe. Make sure that kickstand's down. Don't catch your chaps on your gear shift and go tumbling to the ground. Don't park on hills or gravel. Your fenders finished until you park safe. Then there was the time that I backed up down a hill. My feet slipped on the gravel, and yeah, I took a spill. There's the time I got my new chaps, lots of fringe and custom fit. The kickstand caught between the snaps, but my hubby caught me quick. Can they make it so you cannot park until you're safe and sound? Can they make it so she won't shut off if your kickstand isn't down? Now maybe that's not feasible on a bike that's bare and stark, so make a warning buzzer wailing. Now I thank you all for saying to ride safe when I depart, but please also add the caveat, that's how I gotta park. Before you stop and park your bike, just wish each other well. Over engine roars in the great outdoors, park safe, you gotta yell. Park safe, you all park safe. Make sure that kickstand's down. Don't catch your chaps on your gear shift and go tumbling to the ground. Don't park on hills or gravel, or you can get a chafe. Your ride is not quite finished until you park safe. You all park safe now, you hear?
That's a fun song.
Yeah, that's kind of a different fun song, one of the ones.
But before we left Pennsylvania, you forgot the most important part.
We'll tell you real quick about Straub's beer.
Straub Beer Factory. They have the Eternal Tap there. And that goes along with a story that they used to tell the farmers, because the farmers would take the barley and hops and feed it to their farm animals, right?
Mhm.
Their cows and whatever.
Right.
So they'd come and pick it up from the brewery, and they were welcome to take as much beer as they wanted.
They have a tap on the outside of the factory, and any beer that's more than 90 days old, they can't technically sell it. They have a tap. You can go there 24/7 and just get some beer. It's in St. Mary's, Pennsylvania. It's the
Yeah.
Straub's Beer Factory.
And they sell that. Straub beer is only sold in Pennsylvania and Ohio, I
I
believe,
think
at this
so.
time.
So you
Or
got
at that time, maybe they.
so go take a factory tour. So anyway, we started mentioning West Virginia. We're going to talk about that in our next chapter, in our next episode. What? West
See you
Virginia.
next
See you
week.
next week. Thanks. And remember, say yes to every opportunity. Ride safe, park safe. We'll see you next week.
There was a dream, such a dream.